You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hi, we are Enterprise Splaining, the podcast where we explain Star Trek Enterprise to each other and to you. I'm Maria, and these are my co-hosts Bill.
Hello.
And Jamie.
Hi.
And today we have a special guest, Kevin. Kevin, please introduce yourself and explain why you are here. What is your relationship with Star Trek in general and with Enterprise in particular?
Hello, I'm delighted to be here. A longtime listener of Enterprise Splaining. So an honor to be joining you folks for this show. Well, I was like a kid of the 70s, growing up on the reruns of the original series in the 70s. And so I was buying, the dolls, the action figures of the 70s. I had all those guys, my Mego action figures of the Star Trek crew, the Enterprise play set I had where you could actually beam guys away by spinning them around in a little thing. Fantastic.
Cool.
Yes. I had the walkie-talkie set that they made back then, Star Trek communicators.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
Oh, wow.
It was great. They broke instantly, and then I just pried them open so I could just look at all the little tiny resistors and electronic parts inside them. And yes, and then I was kind of a casual fan of Next Generation. Like when I was excited when it started, and then I kind of drifted away, and then got a little more interested in the early to mid 90s, started watching some Deep Space Nine and Voyager. So yeah, I was trying to follow all those shows, all the 90s stuff as it was
and
going
then
along.
Enterprise.
And then along came Enterprise, right? And I tried.
We all did.
I was there for episode 1 of Enterprise, and I lasted, I don't know, 4 episodes and just kind of drifted away. So I remember very little about the theme song, of course, I could never forget. I remember Sexy Decontamination, and not much beyond that. And that I should also say, even though I've been listening to this show since it started, Enterprise Splaining, I have not been watching the series along with you. I've only been listening to the podcast. And so at this point, essentially everything I know about Enterprise is from this podcast.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
I think it's very bad.
That's the service we provide to the world, is that you don't need to watch the show.
We'll watch it for you.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, welcome, Kevin. I also wanted to mention that Jamie, Kevin, and I will all be at Dragon Con, which is about to happen when this episode comes out.
Oh, we've been missing you from the last couple. I'm excited that you're coming back, Maria.
Yeah, Stephen and I are coming back. I am planning on just going to hang out, but Jamie and Kevin, y'all are planning on being on panels and stuff, right?
Yeah, I will probably be part of Science Track. I don't know about Trek Track yet. I emailed them and did not get an email back, but I will definitely be part of Science Track.
What is the show Enterprise that you're making up? We have no information about this.
I emailed Trek Track and I was like, hey, I have a Star Trek podcast. I could be on Trek Track, but also my podcast is about Enterprise, but also I will only have seen 1.5 seasons by the time of Dragon Con, so I can't actually be on Enterprise panels.
You sound like the worst college interview. I know Microsoft Word, but only the left-hand side of the keyboard.
I entered the Trek Track just once at Dragon Con last year, and it was to see the adults-only puppet show put on by, I believe, your former guests, Charles and Veronica.
Charles, who's been on the podcast. Yeah,
they put
great.
on their naughty Star Trek puppet show.
The show would be so much better if it was all puppets.
Every show would be so much better if it was all puppets, Bill.
That's true. But yeah, I believe Jamie and I are both attending pros at Dragon Con again this year. And yeah, while Jamie's doing all the actual science stuff, I will be mostly working with the American Sci-Fi Classics track, which is the silliest room in all of Dragon Con. We just do goofy things all weekend.
Awesome. Also, Jamie and I are probably going to be in some Enterprise cosplay.
Probably.
We will have Enterprise Splaining and Porthos Appreciation Society stickers. So if you see us, come say hi.
Badge ribbons.
Oh, yeah, badge ribbons.
That is the last time I saw Jamie. You were fully suited up in Enterprise
That is true.
uniform. And I mean, Dragon Con was over at that point, and Jamie was still out there on the street.
That's how she got on the plane.
Sometimes she just wears it when we're recording. It's weird.
Yes.
Today, we are going to be talking about the Star Trek Enterprise episode Vanishing Point. However, I am the only person here who's actually watched this episode, so it's my job to explain to my co-hosts and to Kevin what happened. Computer, tell us about the episode we are talking about this week.
Vanishing Point. Hoshi experiences her first transporter experience, and strange after effects lead her to believe she wasn't reassembled correctly.
Now it's time for Two Truths and a Lie. I'm going to tell you guys 2 truths and a lie about this episode, and you get to guess which is the lie. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Number 1. Hoshi has to save the ship while running around in skimpy workout gear.
I mean,
Okay.
Number 2. A transporter accident horrifically mutilates a crew member.
oh no.
Oh, okay.
And number 3. Caves do not factor into the plot of this week's episode.
Oh, boy. Okay. Now you got me thinking.
I hate the double negative. So caves do not factor in. So if that's the lie, it means there is a cave.
Right.
In the main plot of the episode.
In the main plot, so there
main
could be
plot.
a
In
The
B
plot.
plot.
It doesn't
Okay.
don't really factor into the... There's no B plot. What are you talking?
They've had B plots.
Okay. Well.
Wait, so there could be a cave, but not part of the plot, and it would be true.
It's just on a screen in the background because it's a Maria episode.
No, if it didn't, if it doesn't factor into the plot, then that is true.
I am going to go with
tricky.
transporter accident is the lie.
Same.
You know, I was leaning towards transporter mutilation as well, just because I love a good cave, and this show you can always, I think, count on people wearing skimpy things and running about. So yeah, let's go with transporter.
I just don't
Okay.
want the transporter. I don't want to see a mutilated transporter accident. I'm really bad with 2 truths and a lie because I'm always just choosing the thing that I want, even when I think it's not true. I think the actual lie is probably the Hoshi one because that sounds like something you might make up, but I'm going with transporter because I don't want it to be true.
Well, while y'all continue to ponder what this week's lie may be, let's hear a bit more about one of our sister podcasts on the ESO network.
Hello and welcome to your special delivery of the Cosmic Pizza podcast. I am Casey from the UK.
Dan in the UK.
Finger on the pulse. That's this show. That's definitely what we're all about.
Paul in the UK. I don't eat mashed potato. It's horrible stuff.
John in Canada. First world problems. It's the only kind I have.
How are you doing, Paul?
And all 7 of our listeners want to know.
I'm pretty sure most of them are here. And we are here to serve you a delicious slice of life.
The Cosmic Pizza podcast is not about the cosmos, all about pizza.
All right. Cold open. We open on the mouth of a cave.
All right, we're halfway there, guys.
Y'all, this opening scene, I was legitimately angry at this opening scene.
There's a little sign out there that says, "Hi, Maria."
Hi, Maria, welcome.
Bill and I still have never once gotten a cave. We just swapped episodes recently, so we're like on a new schedule, and
Still getting caves.
I was so worried I would get the cave curse.
So we slowly push into the cave and we see that Hoshi and Trip are inside. Trip has his little camera out and he's taking pictures of cave drawings on the wall. Hoshi is saying that the drawings are at least 300 years older than the ones in the previous chamber. And as they're talking, you get like a close-up of the cave drawings, one of which appears to be a stegosaurus pooping.
Okay, clearly what has happened is Trip has snuck in here and drawn this drawing so that he can pretend to discover.
They are discussing the fact that they really can't understand the language or figure out exactly what happened. There is not a single biosign on the planet. They do not know what happened to the civilization that was there.
They wiped it out and now they're trying to cover it up.
They inadvertently killed everybody. They're still scanning and taking photos when Archer comes in from Enterprise. He tells them that they have to come back. There's a huge storm heading their way. Trip says they'll finish up what they're doing and be back in the shuttle pod in like 5 or 6 minutes, and Archer tells them not to take too much longer. He's concerned about them getting stuck in the storm. And in fact, just as he signs off, T'Pol tells him that there's another storm coming. This one is bigger and harsher and is pushing the first storm through the mountains faster.
Is that a thing that storms can do?
I don't know,
Can
man.
one storm like push another storm?
The system, I guess? I don't know. Malcolm says they are diamagnetic storms, saturated with polaric energy. Archer looks worried because he apparently knows what
Archer
that means.
turns around and says, "That's bullshit. Stop saying.
Yeah.
Shut up, Malcolm."
Stop saying words.
Wait, I'm sorry. You said
Diamagnetic.
Dianetics.
Not diamagnetic. Yeah, diamagnetic storms saturated with polaric energy. So the shuttle is less than 10 kilometers from the first storm. And back on the planet, Hoshi and Trip leave the cave. It's like crazy windy. There's lots of lightning. They look ahead and they literally see 3 giant tornadoes in the sky ahead of them.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's intense. The storms are now throwing up too much interference and they can't risk taking the shuttle pod. Hoshi suggests that they wait it out in the caves, but Archer says it's too dangerous. They have to transport up one at a time.
Uh-oh.
Malcolm is ready for them, but Hoshi does not want to do this. She makes several alternate suggestions, including sheltering in the shuttle pod and polarizing the hull plating, which T'Pol says will attract even more polaric discharge.
Oh my god, are we going to get a merged Hoshi and Trip in this episode?
Oh my god. It's a Tuvix situation. So Archer tells Hoshi she doesn't have a choice. She has to do this. They have to get clear of the structure and transport one at a time. So Trip and Hoshi sign off. They go back into the cave to take cover and discuss. Trip tells Hoshi to go first, and she is super, super nervous. She asks if he's ever done this before, and he says no, but the captain has, and Malcolm has done it twice, and they're both fine.
Debatable.
Well, also, technically, Trip did get transported during Dead Stop, but since that was different tech, I guess he's not counting it.
Right, they're talking about their transporter.
Yeah, but also they transported a whole bunch of other crew members in that episode when they went to Pajam.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Like, they transported
That's
a
true.
bunch of people.
Rostov got transported too when he was freaking out in
Yeah.
Cocaine Cave.
That's true.
I might be wrong, but I do remember that the Cocaine Cave transport guy was a recurring character.
I do want to mention on the topic of Rostov, we've now seen him 3 times. I cannot tell you what that man looks like. If we see him again, they better say his name every time he's on screen, or I will not know it's him.
I mean, we can't tell the difference between the main characters most of the time.
We can't tell the difference between the black guy and the the British white guy.
Yeah, we call Trip and Travis the same thing all the time. They're diametrically opposite people. Okay, anyway, Hoshi is fretting about her molecules being pulled apart and put back together. She says there are trillions of molecules in their bodies. What if some get put back in the wrong place? You know, I bet a lot of them look real similar, she says.
Racist.
Trip says that Starfleet says it's safe, and that's good enough for him. Meanwhile, the storm outside continues to rage and get louder. Hoshi suggests that Trip goes first, and then if he gets back to Enterprise in one piece, she'll follow him.
Transporter, very dangerous. You go first.
You go first.
Yeah, definitely send Trip first.
Trip reluctantly actually agrees to this.
Wait a minute. I just remembered there was another episode where Hoshi sent Malcolm and somebody else down in the she operated the transporter.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot she operated the transporter.
But she's never been in it. So Trip runs out, he calms the ship, and he transports up. And then he calms Hoshi from the ship and assures her that he's fine. So she goes out, and she also gets transported up. Back on the ship, Malcolm welcomes her to the club. And Trip asks her how her molecules feel, and she says she'll let him know. She steps off the transporter pad, and they leave the room. And theme song, which means, Jamie, It is time for your Diane Warren update of the week. What you got?
All right, so last week, I talked about how there was this really long interview in New York Magazine. It's in the print New York Magazine, but online it's in Vulture by Alex Goldberg, where he interviewed Diane Warren, and there was lots of good information in it. So I gave you some of it last week, and I've got a couple more stories from that this week, and then I'll have one more thing for next week. Really spreading this one out, because
Awesome.
Otherwise we're going to have like a whole hour of Diane Warren update, and no one wants that except for me. So,
I should admit, the Diane Warren update is my favorite part of the show.
Don't encourage her, Kevin.
Thank you. And I realized, I think a lot of our like new listeners may not even know who Diane Warren is or why we are doing this. So just to be clear for anyone new, Diane Warren is the writer of the Enterprise theme song.
And she also wrote essentially every hit song of the last few decades.
Oh, yeah.
Well, every hit like schmaltzy ballad of the last couple decades.
She's great.
So the interviewer, Alex Goldberg, asked her about why she so rarely collaborates with any other songwriters. It's actually kind of unusual these days. Most songs have multiple writers, but she is the sole songwriter credited on almost all of her music. And it seems from her answer that it's really about having control over it. She mentioned that if she writes a song with another songwriter, so like a lot of musicians or like artists these days like to be a credited songwriter on the song. So they'll, instead of having just taking somebody else's song, they usually are like, well, I'll write a song with you. And the problem is if she writes a song with the artist and then they later decide they don't like it, they don't want to release it, it's dead. But if she writes it herself and then an artist decides not to record it, she can just take it to a different artist.
To somebody else.
Yeah, and she's just so focused on like, her big thing is that she wants people to hear her songs. She wants all of her songs recorded and she wants people to be able to hear it. She doesn't want, even if somebody pays her for it, if no one hears it, that's not good enough for her.
Right.
It's sort of what I talked about last week. I talked about the song that she wrote with Lady Gaga, and then Gaga's team didn't want to make a music video or promote it, and she basically secretly created her own music video and like released it.
Amazing work.
And that's because, again, like, this is why she doesn't want to collaborate. Like, she wants full control. Like, when she did collaborate with Lady Gaga, she like totally went over their head because there was something that she wanted to do that they didn't want to do. So if she writes a song by herself, she has full writer's credit. She controls everything about it. The interviewer said that this lack of collaboration could be a problem these days because younger artists today all want to collaborate on songs. It's very unusual for them to just be like taking a song written by somebody else. The interviewer actually said that he spoke with one of her close friends, Eric Vetro, and he had told him that there was an artist that he talked to who said that she would rather write her own songs that don't become smash hits than record a song that she didn't write that becomes a smash hit. And Diane Warren's response to this, this is a quote from her. "It was Paloma Faith. Only love can hurt like this. That became probably my biggest hit ever. And by the way, I'm working with her again, so she is doing another song of mine." I love that when Alex Goldberg went to her friend and talked to him, he like told the story, but specifically did not say the name of the person because, you know, he's got some tact. And I love that Diane Warren clearly took this personally and was like, not only will I tell you who it is, but also, by the way, her biggest hit I wrote, and she's about to do another one with me. So anyways, I just like loved that story, and I just love her. I love the way she does things. At one point she was asked like if an artist ever changed a lyric when they recorded it. Ooh. And she did mention that Cyndi Lauper once changed the line in the song "I Don't Want to Be Your Friend," but then she like goes on and on in this interview about how she didn't like the change and now it doesn't make sense. Like the old line made sense and the new line didn't make sense. And then she ends this with, quote, "Anyways, she did it her way. It wasn't a hit."
Oh,
jeez.
I love people who don't give a fuck so much.
Takes no prisoners.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's Diane Warren. That's how she does things. Oh wait, one more. Apparently, when Toni Braxton heard the demo for "Unbreak My Heart," she hated it and refused to record it. So Diane Warren was like, just felt like Toni Braxton would be so perfect for the song that she called Clive Davis, played it for Clive Davis because Clive Davis was producing the album, that Toni Braxton refused to record it, and got Clive Davis to agree to go to Toni Braxton and tell her that he will not release her new album if that song was not on it.
My God.
Forcing her to record Unbreak My Heart. And guess what? That was Toni Braxton's favorite song. So Diane Warren told this story as another example of why she is right and the artists are wrong. Like, we had kind of a similar story previously with Cher.
Turn Back Time.
Yeah, for that song.
God, how much do I know about this woman's musicography?
But yeah, I love, she is so sure of herself. And for Star Trek, like, she is the one that chose Faith of the Heart for Enterprise. She chose it, and she chose the singer for it. So,
So they're not all winners.
yeah.
And yet, Maria, here we are, 1.5 years into this podcast.
I mean, you just said that. I thought my thing was too long, so I had this written and I'd cross it out. I wasn't going to say it. But now that you just said that, he actually asked her, because she said that every time she writes a song, she believes it's her best song that she's ever written. And the interviewer was like, well, you have written over 1,500 songs. Surely you must have written a few duds.
What?
And she responded, well, yeah, duh. I mean, I try not to write them, but of course. And all I could think of was Faith of the Heart. Like, I wonder if she was thinking about Faith of the Heart when she said that.
I'm terrified for that interviewer now. I think that she could just snap her fingers at that point and the interviewer would have just disappeared in a puff of smoke. How dare you? How dare you?
Anyways, that's everything for today. I have one more story next week, because just to give a slight spoiler, the whole tiff between her and Beyonce that happened a couple of years ago, she addresses it, and we'll save that for next week.
Fantastic.
Okay. Thank you, Jamie. So now that the theme song is complete, we can get into this episode. Hoshi is in her bathroom cleaning up. She and Trip came back with that chimney sweep look, so she's wiping the dirt off of her face with a towel. She looks in the mirror and then looks closer at her nose and scratches a small spot on the bridge of her nose thoughtfully. And the door chimes and she goes to answer it. It's Archer checking in on her. She says she's fine and that she'll be at her post as soon as she cleans up and gets dressed. But Archer tells her to take the rest of the day off. She's had a big day.
You've had a big day. And then he pats her on the head.
Big day. She thanks him and he tells her that he assumes that she and Trip will want to go back down there the next day, weather permitting. And she asks why. And he says, well, they at least have to get the shuttle pod back.
Shuttle pod gone, man. Shuttle pod is flipped over on the in a ravine.
Hoshi says that she's sure Trip can find someone else to go with him. She does not want back on that planet. Archer reminds her that she doesn't need to take the transporter. They'll just take the other shuttle pod. And Hoshi kind of looks vague and says, I don't want to get lost.
Why would they bring Hoshi? If the only purpose of going back down is to get the other shuttle pod, why would Hoshi go?
I think what Archer is saying is that they weren't done mapping out the caves
they still
and
had other stuff.
taking photos and all that. They got kind of interrupted.
Sense.
Yeah.
Archer says, well, you're the main character in this episode, so obviously you need to go back out.
So Archer asks her what she means by lost, and she sort of was off in a reverie. She comes back from whatever she was thinking and she sighs and says, it just must be that she needs some rest. So Archer leaves and tells her that he'll see her in the morning. And she goes back to looking thoughtfully at herself in the mirror.
Oh, God, it's a transporter accident. We got it all wrong. Okay.
The next scene is in the mess hall. Trip, Malcolm, and Travis are sitting together, eating and joking and laughing in a way that we have never, ever seen them eat and joke and laugh. They are the best of friends all of a sudden.
Trip and Malcolm?
And Travis.
Trip,
Malcolm, and Travis. They are like good old boys laughing, being boisterous. It is unusual.
Malcolm is engaging in conversation. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hoshi walks up with her tray and asks if she can join them. They ignore her and just keep laughing and chatting. And she clears her throat and asks again, and they finally notice her and tell her to join them.
Oh.
Weird. Okay, yeah.
I have a prediction, but I'm going to keep it to myself. Okay.
As soon as she sits down, Travis asks, so what was it like? And Malcolm chides Travis, telling him to let her eat and not bother her. Hoshi smiles and says it was very unsettling. She asks Trip if he found it unsettling, and he says yes for a couple of minutes, but once he counted his fingers and toes, he was fine.
Still got 6 of each.
Hoshi says she just doesn't feel right. Trip says it was probably the storm, which was really scary, but she insists it was not the storms, it's the transporter. She doesn't feel like herself since going through it. She says she wants to check the medical database and find out what happened to the people they used to test the transporter.
Whoa, wait a second. Sorry.
You want to go to the graveyard?
In the pilot episode, they said that no person had ever been sent through the transporter. And then when Archer went through the transporter, they said he was like the first human to ever be sent through the transporter.
Well, we don't technically consider them people.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I mean, like, Jesus Christ. Once they beg you to kill them, it's,
So, but Malcolm grins and says, well, other than Cyrus Ramsey. Hoshi asks who that is, and the others are all very surprised that she doesn't know about him.
Oh, that poor bastard.
Cyrus Ramsey?
Travis says,
what a
you
name.
can't go on an overnight survival trip without hearing about how someone saw Ramsey's molecules rematerializing on a foggy night. Hoshi again asks, what happened to Cyrus Ramsey?
Wait. In Cocaine Cave, when they were telling ghost stories, was one of the ghost stories a transporter ghost story? Is that the same guy?
I don't remember, but that might be right. I'm definitely not going back to that episode to check.
They may not have said the name of the guy, but I thought that there was like a ghost story about a guy who went through a transporter and then disappeared, and like sometimes you see him or something. Maybe I'm just making this. Maybe I'm imagining this.
No, that does sound right.
I think it was they heard like comm signals from a dead.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The way I heard it, he had a hook for a hand.
Yes,
as well.
And there on the airlock was a hook.
So Chip finally explains that Cyrus Ramsey was a test subject for the first long-range transporters, just 100 meters. But something went wrong and he never materialized. And everyone is really surprised that she's never heard this story. The guys continue to chat about survival training and where each of them did their survival training when Trip gets a comm from Archer, who tells him that the storms are clearing and they should be good to go back down in the morning. Trip says that Travis was just saying that he wanted to see the ruins. And Archer says, well, I don't think Hoshi will be joining you, in kind of a little bit of an annoyed tone on an open comm.
Yeah,
and
rude.
Hoshi looks very uncomfortable. Trip says he will need another pilot anyway since they have to fly both shuttles. So Archer gives the okay and signs off. And the guys all get up and leave, still chatting and laughing. And Hoshi is left alone at the table with a full plate of food.
Wow.
She looks upset. They didn't say goodbye or anything.
Yeah, it's so weird because originally I was thinking it was like that TNG episode where I can't even remember who it was.
Is this Remember Me?
Maybe the one where nobody could see them, and I thought maybe she's like coming in and out, but they would notice if she just like disappeared in front of them. So I'm like, is this sexism? Like, are we dealing with misogyny? Is this transporter accident or misogyny?
It's extremely hard to tell with this show.
It's generally just how people treat Hoshi.
Is this a sci-fi concept or general misogyny?
Yeah, exactly.
Could go either way.
New segment on this show, sci-fi concept or general misogyny.
As I recall, this was pretty much how it went for me at my school cafeteria every day. Not a dissimilar reaction.
You got remembered me?
They called you Cyrus Ramsey?
They did.
So the next scene is in sickbay. Hoshi walks in, but nobody's there. She calls for the doctor, sticks her head into the side room looking for him. She doesn't see him, so she goes back to the main sickbay area, and suddenly Phlox appears right behind her. She is very confused as to where he came from. She says she just looked in that side room. She asks if he heard her come in, but he just says he was feeding his leeches, which, okay.
I love that song. My belly, I think.
Phlox asks if she's all right, and she tells him that she's not feeling well after dematerializing and rematerializing in the transporter. Phlox says he heard about the storms, and again, she says she isn't talking about the storms, she's talking about her molecules. She talks about her molecules a lot.
Is this about your period? No, it's not about my period. It's about my molecules.
Again, is this just doctors dealing with women?
Could be 1 trillion of them exactly. I need you to count each of them right now.
So Phlox scans her and says she seems fine. He says she's not in danger of becoming the next Cyrus Ramsey. Even Phlox has heard of Cyrus Ramsey. She tells Phlox that since the transport, she just hasn't felt right, shaky and not herself. Phlox says he can't find a single biomolecular anomaly. Hoshi points to a spot on her nose. She says it used to be a centimeter lower.
A centimeter?
A centimeter lower on her nose.
Centimeter's like not small.
Right.
I mean, it's fairly far down her nose.
1/4 inch.
That's...
Oh, like a spot on her nose.
Yeah, not her nose.
Not
sorry.
like her nose.
Sorry. Not her entire nose. My nose is...
I used to have a nose, Phlox. I don't remember that.
No, it's just a little birthmark that she has on her nose that has apparently moved down a centimeter. Or moved up a centimeter. Phlox dismisses this, saying he thinks it's lovely where it is right now, and Hoshi does not think this is a joke.
Never really cared for it where it used to be. It's much prettier now.
Much better. She says that if the machine could move a birthmark, who knows what else it could do. But Phlox is kind of getting annoyed. He says he has a lot of animals to feed before bedtime. He suggests a good night's sleep, and he walks away.
Phlox just has a giant bucket of slop that he's just throwing in a trough.
Yeah. Next scene, Hoshi is in her quarters asleep when her computer chimes. She gets out of bed and answers, and it's T'Pol telling her she's needed on the bridge. She asks what time it is, and T'Pol says it's 1100 hours. Hoshi says that's impossible. Her shift started at 8. T'Pol says there's an emergency, and she needs to get up there. The next scene, Archer is walking across the bridge, looking angry when Hoshi comes in. She apologizes, but Archer has no time for that. He tells her that Tucker and Mayweather have been taken hostage. Trip got a quick message out, but then everything went silent on their comms. Archer says the people down there didn't like them disturbing their ruins. And Hoshi is very confused. She says there were no biosigns on the planet, so what people could it be?
Is she like in another timeline? Like what? Because there's definitely something weird, and we've only seen things from her perspective. Like I don't think we've gotten a scene that she's not in. There's something, something weird.
Well, here we go again. This is Star Trek science or misogyny. Either something has shifted due to her transporting, or the entire crew is gaslighting her. Let's find out. With this show,
50-50 chance.
Spin the wheel.
Nobody answers her about where the people came from. T'Pol says the chambers that Trip and Hoshi photographed contained sacred relics, and Hoshi asks how she could possibly know that. Again, T'Pol does not answer. Meanwhile, Malcolm is trying to isolate Trip and Travis's biosigns to figure out where they're being held. Something beeps at Hoshi's console. It's Travis's communicator. She connects and Archer says, "Go ahead, Travis," but an alien language comes through. Everyone looks at Hoshi, who tries to figure out what they're saying via the universal translator.
Is she just dreaming? I feel like this is just a dream or something. It definitely got weirder in the second day, so I feel like she must be dreaming.
No, this is a remember me. Okay, that's my prediction.
Better not be just a dream. What kind of cop-out story would that be?
All right, let's hear your predictions.
Wait, is Remember Me the TNG episode where that Bajoran girl and somebody? Yeah. And who was the other person that was with her in that episode?
Geordi.
And then like nobody could see them? Yes, thank you. Geordi and Ro? Was that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Ro and Geordi, yes.
That was ghosts. The episode when just nobody could see them?
Yeah.
But this is different because people are talking to her.
They could walk through walls but not fall through the floor.
Yes. But this is different because people are talking to her.
Do you remember the episode Remember Me, Jamie? It's the one where Wesley is going off to Starfleet Academy and Beverly Crusher. Everybody starts disappearing.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I remember that one.
She's in a slightly parallel universe. Her and the end, and they have to get her back into the universe.
I just remember her at the end by herself on the bridge in the captain's chair.
Yep.
Okay.
So they're ripping off multiple next-gen episodes all at the same time? Is that what?
Star Trek eats itself. I'm not even mad about this at this point.
So Hoshi is trying to figure out what the alien is saying through their universal translator. She says she needs him to talk more. She doesn't have enough to get the translation. So Archer introduces himself. He says they didn't mean any harm, and he apologizes if they've disturbed him. The alien language comes back through. The guy continues to talk. Hoshi continues to try to figure it out with the universal translator, but it isn't working. Hoshi says she still needs more. So Archer asks to speak to one of the hostages, and the alien seems to get agitated. He says a whole bunch more stuff, and Hoshi continues to struggle with the universal translator. Archer looks at her. The guy talked a whole bunch. He says it's not going to get much better than that.
Has she tried yelling, ship? Ship!
This is
ship distress.
This sounds like me now. When I was a child, my nightmares used to be that I was being chased by a monster. And now as an adult, when I have a nightmare, it's I can't get my iPhone to work properly.
That's right.
I'm trying to text someone, and it keeps putting the wrong letters in.
The buttons aren't working.
The keyboard is French for some reason. So T'Pol asks what the problem is. Malcolm suggests not trying through the universal translator. Just talk to them. This scene is a mirror of a scene with Hoshi in, I think, season 1. Yeah. It was either when they met the Klingons or when they found that murder ship. I could have looked it up, but I didn't.
It was the murder ship episode when they were at the very end and like Hoshi was freaking out. And then Archer's like, just talk to them. Like, you're better than the universal translator.
Just talk to them.
Hoshi first told the aliens that they had killed everybody aboard the ship. And Archer was like, just don't use the computer.
Stop using the computer. But this time, unfortunately, it does not work. She tries a few things and the guy replies, but she can't figure it out. She says that she's going to go back to the universal translator, but Archer says she's already tried that and that she should try to talk to them, and Hoshi says she can't. T'Pol says lives are at stake. T'Pol, super useful here.
T'Pol never misses a chance to point out when Hoshi is not living up to her expectations.
And
then Hoshi says, well, why don't you try it like you did when I had a concussion? Let's see how that works.
Hoshi says she knows lives are at stake. She doesn't know what the guy is saying. She's getting flustered. She keeps apologizing. Archer tells her she doesn't need to apologize and that she should go back to her quarters and get some rest. Hoshi says she's sorry for oversleeping, but says she doesn't want to go back to her quarters. But Archer ignores her.
It's so rude to be like, why don't you leave and go take a nap?
I can't even be mad because this is clearly a nightmare episode. That's okay.
Archer just ignores her. He walks up to a random crewman who we've never seen before and tells him to take the comm.
White guy? White
guy.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Just double checking.
Absolutely. Archer calls for Malcolm and they both leave and go into his ready room, seeming to have already forgotten about Hoshi. Hoshi looks disappointed and leaves the bridge.
Truly, every single sentence you say, I'm like, misogyny or Star Trek magic. Every single thing.
Every single sentence.
I think I've got the vibe of this show. I'm grooving with it. Let's go.
I mean, everybody sounds so horrible, and yeah, you're just kind of hanging on. At some point, it'll all be okay, because nobody was really being as horrible as it seems like they're being.
If this was TNG and everybody was being horrible to one crew member, you'd be like, oh, this is kind of weird. But with this show, you're like, oh, yeah, I guess this is...
You never know. We have no baseline for how these people act.
I mean, you mentioned, remember me, Beverly, if Picard was treating her this way, she would immediately know something was up, right? Like, she would immediately be like, something is going on. But Hoshi is still like, people are just being rude to me, and it's just like par for the course on this ship.
Yeah, she's like, some of this is just how things are. To some degree. So,
you know how we do.
Just business as usual. People say you're being hysterical, go to bed.
Exactly. Back in her quarters, she decides to take a shower. She turns the water on, takes her robe off, and goes to the mirror. The mirror fogs up a little, and suddenly, as she's looking at herself, her reflection starts to fade. And she steps back surprised, but then wipes the fog off the mirror and looks again, and she's fine.
And the killer is right behind her.
Yeah, it is very much a, is somebody gonna come kill her scene.
The mark from her nose is behind her now.
It screams, "Help me!
It just keeps going higher and higher and higher. So she gets in the shower, starts to wash her hair, and she gets some either soap or shampoo from the little dispenser into her hands, but then she looks down at her hands and they start to Marty McFly disappear. She gasps, but again, when she looks at them again, they're fine. So she's super shaken. We're back in the mess hall. Hoshi is again getting a meal and walking her tray in to find a seat. Y'all, we see more random crew members in this episode than we have ever seen before. The mess hall is full, and it's all people I have never seen.
Last episode had lots of random extras too, including like a lot of women. And the reason I noticed is because Eric was sitting next to me, and every time he goes, "A woman crew member, oh, another woman crew member," he was pointing out every woman crew member. And because usually the extras are almost all men,
Right.
like we will periodically get like a random woman, but it feels like they're doing something different with their extras.
Okay.
Right. Hoshi walks up to T'Pol, who is reading a book and sitting at a table at the mess hall, and she asks if she can sit there. T'Pol ignores her.
Ooh, high school all over again.
Yeah. So she tries again, but is ignored until she finally clears her throat, and T'Pol looks up and asks if she would like to join her. T'Pol is drinking tea and goes back to the book she was reading as Hoshi sits down. Hoshi says she's surprised that T'Pol isn't on the bridge helping with the Trip and Travis situation. And T'Pol says the hostage situation has been resolved and the guys are back on board.
Total lie. This is the point where Hoshi should be like, okay, this is a total fucking lie. There is no way these two are involved in a hostage situation and everything has been resolved unless everyone on the planet is dead. Okay, I know what I'm dealing with here now. Let me go to the main computer and start doing quantum analysis.
Hoshi is, as you say, very confused. It's only been an hour.
This might be I think the episode might be called The Trap. It's where Riker is trapped in a hologram simulation by a child, and they put him on an Enterprise where it's far in the future, and things start to go wrong, and the way he figures it out is that Geordi can't solve a basic problem, and he goes, "You're not capable of that level of incompetence." This should be where Hoshi goes, "You're not capable of that level of competence. Something is wrong in this universe. This is a lie. I reject this reality."
It gets so much better, you guys. T'Pol says that crewman Baird deciphered their language. It was, quote, "a simple bimodal syntax," and he managed to decipher it using the universal translator. Hoshi says that is impossible. She ran every linguistic algorithm on the universal translator.
Okay.
T'Pol ignores this and says that once the captain agreed to return the soil samples and rock samples and destroy the photos that were taken, the aliens released the hostages.
And bring a chainsaw down to the planet.
Hoshi says that if they've decrypted the language, she should get back to the bridge in case the captain wants to speak with them again. But T'Pol says that Archer has asked that Hoshi remain off duty for the time being. Crewman Baird has been placed in charge of communications.
Man, this sucks for Hoshi. Like, I know there's something weird going on, but like this, especially because Hoshi is someone who often doesn't have a lot of confidence. Like she already sometimes struggles with this. And yeah, Hoshi is going through it right now.
What if everybody who's one down on the list of this crew is actually the better, like Lady Engineer Ross is actually the better crew member, and they just move everybody one step up. Like,
yeah, they just swap everyone.
T'Pol gets up and leaves, and once again, Hoshi is left alone with all her food at the table, looking stunned. In the next scene, Hoshi is walking down a hallway where she passes two crew members talking to each other. It's a man and a woman, and she greets the woman, but they both ignore her and keep walking.
Did you hear about the Baird thing? It's so embarrassing for Hoshi.
So embarrassing for Hoshi. Hoshi goes to the turbo lift and is about to call for it, but it arrives, and another crew member walks out, also ignoring her. She walks in, and tries to push the button, but nothing happens. So she tries again, and then suddenly she hears indistinct voices. It sounds like somebody is saying something to her. She hears her name, but you can't really hear it very well. And as she's looking for the source of those voices around the turbo lift, another crewman comes in and pushes a button, and the turbo lift closes.
I don't know what's going on, but I have a prediction for how it will be resolved.
Okay.
It's going to be like whatever's going on in like wherever the real Enterprise is. They're going to fix it, and then she's just going to like appear and be like, oh, but she's going to have no agency in fixing it.
Oh,
we're just going to torture you for the whole episode, and then it will end.
Yeah,
We'll
unlike, I feel like TNG with like Beverly, like I can't remember how that resolved, but
I mean, she figured it out.
She had
and
something
she
to
did
do,
something,
like,
right?
She had to do, like, they were doing something on both sides, but she had to do something on her Enterprise. Yes, that's my recollection of it.
I have a feeling in this case that, and in the other one where they were like the ghosts or whatever, I think that they had to do something
figured
to
it
get
out.
back. I think Hoshi, she's gonna like figure out something's going wrong, but I bet however it's resolved requires no agency on Hoshi because that is what the writers of this show do. She is a woman. They are not going to let her do anything.
I am not taking that bet.
I hate that, but I think you're right.
I don't want that to happen, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, we'll see. But this is clearly too much weirdness. Hoshi goes back to medbay. She tells Phlox that everything has gone wrong ever since she used the translator. She couldn't...
The transporter.
Translator, fuck.
No, everything has gone wrong since she used the translator, but let's...
Yeah, that's fair. She tells Phlox that everything has gone wrong ever since she used the transporter. She couldn't translate a simple bimodal syntax, but crewman fucking Baird could, despite not knowing a damn thing about their linguistic database. Archer told her to stay in her quarters, her reflection in the mirror isn't solid, and water is growing through her hands, which I feel like those last two she should have led with. But okay. Plus, nobody wants to talk to her.
I can't believe she bothered going back to Phlox after her first medical appointment.
Well, she doesn't have much choice.
And I can't catch bats anymore.
I used to be able to catch bats in my hand. Nobody wants to talk to her. It seems like they don't even know she's there. Even the turbo lift control won't respond. Phlox assures her that he sees her and points out that the sickbay doors responded when she walked in. He says that the transporter tech is new and it's normal to be scared of new technology. He's sure that people were just as scared when the automobile or the airplane were introduced.
Did he hear the part about water going through her hand?
Amy, that's perfectly normal.
He says he can promise her that she's in perfect health, not transparent or porous.
Human beings are extremely porous. We are quite covered in pores. Water comes in and out of us all the time.
To be fair, I feel like I've had the same doctor. Like the way doctors respond to women.
We've all had. Every woman has had this doctor. He says he can promise her that she's in perfect health. Hoshi smiles and says that she hopes that he isn't going to put this in her medical record. And he says...
Oh, I don't keep medical records. I don't keep any records of the things I do on this ship.
I don't keep records on semi-transparent people that everybody ignores.
And actually, like, in all seriousness, if he really believes that she is physically healthy, he should be worried about her mental health. If she believes she's, like, turning transparent and water is going through her hands.
Yeah. He says, as far as I'm concerned, I didn't even see you come in here. It's too soon for that, Phlox. It's far too fucking soon.
Also, as a doctor, no, like, actually, this is stuff you should put in her file. Because what if this is a sign that she is being delusional? Like, what if this is, like, an early sign of a mental illness? Like, this actually is something you should not put this in her...
Not ignore.
Records, right. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Phlox offers her a sedative. But
and a lollipop.
Why does everyone keep wanting her to go to sleep?
Back to
you
bed
seem
you go.
hysterical. Maybe you should relax. No, he doesn't say that.
Okay.
He doesn't say that, but that's what it feels like. Right. He offers her a sedative, but she says the last thing she needs is to be medicated.
I have a quick question, Marie. Is this shot like, how does the camera work on this? Is it shot like psychological horror, or is this shot like just flat? Like
no, it's perfectly normal.
Okay.
It's perfectly normal. Just a normal interaction.
I don't like that they do that. Okay.
Phlox does tell her to stop by and check in with him in the morning, and she agrees and leaves. She walks up to the door and kind of hesitates, but she pushes the button and the door's open. She looks back at him, she smiles, and she leaves. In the next scene, Trip is spinning around.
What, like in a chair?
He's in the gym in one of those big gyroscope things.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
We saw it. Wait, we saw it in A Night in Sickbay. They walked by it and I was like, what the hell is that? I think I left it out of the script because the script was so long, but it was so weird looking and I'm so excited that we're going to get to see him in it.
I just sent it to you in chat.
I remember these things.
Yeah, that's in the gym? Is that exercise?
For listeners, we'll put the photo in the show notes.
I think people have seen these things. It's the things with the 3 rings so you can flip around in every way.
It's the big spinny things that NASA use. I looked it up. It's called a multi-axis trainer or an aero trim.
But they have these like at carnivals and stuff.
Connor Trenier seems to be having a great fucking time.
Well, here's the thing. The photo you have sent us is, he's in the 360 thing, but there is a black piece of metal that covers his crotch, and in every other piece of sci-fi thing, that's what they use to cover like erotic stuff. Like that's like the women always have a bar over their breasts and their crotch. So he looks like it's a sex thing.
I'm confused as to why this is in the gym because, like, what are you? You just hold on and it moves you around, right?
That is
You're
not
like
exercise.
doing a workout.
Nope.
I thought it was maybe for like 0G training or something, but I don't
that
really
maybe.
know.
It's just because they thought it would look cool to see people flipping around on it.
They were like, this is futuristic.
And honestly, like I said, Connor Trenier is clearly the person in there and having the best time. He is having so much fun in there. Hoshi asks if he's okay, after being a hostage. And he kind of dismisses it all, saying they didn't even tie them up or anything, and that once Archer agreed to give them their stuff back, they walked them back to the shuttles and let them leave.
Just a minor hostage situation, no big deal.
Hostage.
Does Trip say it in a disappointed voice? They didn't even tie us up or anything.
No, that would be Archer, right? There weren't even any slugs. They didn't beat me up or anything. Hoshi apologizes to Trip for not being able to translate. She says she doesn't know what happened. Trip says they're fine now, so it's all good. He asks if she's tried the gyroscope thing, and she reminds him that she gets motion sickness. She goes over and pushes some buttons on the wall and then goes to the weight bench and starts pulling like weight cables. She asks if he's felt okay since being transported. Trip says he's had better days, what with being kidnapped and all, but he thinks he's fine.
I want to also mention, since they were kidnapped, they could have just been transported back, right?
Well, yeah, you mean they could have been transported out of the hostage
Out of the
situation?
kidnapping situation.
Yeah.
Or the hostage situation, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was a scene where Malcolm was trying to find them and he was having a hard time, locating his bioson.
Okay.
The rest of this episode is not going to make sense because this is a nightmare and Hoshi is not in actual reality, so.
But Star Trek has a long history of conveniently ignoring transporter technology when it doesn't serve the moment.
Particularly this show. This show in particular should never have introduced transporter technology.
No, they never should have.
Yeah.
So Trip says he thinks everything is fine. He asks what's going on with her, and she says that she thought something was wrong, but the doctor's checked her and thinks it's all psychological.
Wait, I'm sorry, did Phlox ever say that? Phlox does have a psychiatry degree.
Implied it.
He implied? But then also was just like, if it's psychological, if he really believes that, he shouldn't have just let her go.
I think he just thought she was upset and needed to, get some rest.
She needed a nice bubble bath.
Trip asks what her symptoms are, and she says she just hasn't been feeling herself. Everything is off, including the laws of physics. Trip tells her that in that case, she definitely shouldn't get on the gyroscope. Or she doesn't say anything. She just readjusts the weight and starts to lift. Trip apologizes and says he's just trying to cheer her up. He stops the spinny thing and gets out of it. He says it'll just take her some time to get used to the idea of being taken apart and put back together, and it's natural to be anxious.
I'm not even going to make a joke about that. That's just an amazing line.
She says she hopes it's just her being anxious, but he asks what else it could be. And then she tells him about her reflection becoming transparent and the water going through her hands. She just doesn't think that the transporter put her back together right. Trip seems genuinely sympathetic, but clearly doesn't think that anything is actually wrong.
I feel like the spot on the nose thing is proof, right? Like, she could show a photo. Presumably there are photos of Hoshi where she could be like, look at this photo and look now and like have concrete evidence.
It's even better if Trip goes, oh, you got the watery palms too? And he holds up his hands just like water. Just
oh, yeah, that's been going around. That's been going around.
Jamie, you're going to love this. Trip suggests that she takes a sedative and crawl into bed.
Oh, no.
Wouldn't this be so funny if she finally is like, fine, I'll take the sedative, and she takes the sedative and like gets a good night's sleep and wakes up and is like, everything's fine now, problem solved.
Yeah.
End of episode.
Turns out it was misogyny this whole time.
So yeah, he assures her that a good night's sleep will do her a world of good, and he leaves the gym. She keeps working out. She gets off of the weight bench and does a totally normal thing that you do at the gym. She pulls her hair out of a ponytail. And then she starts working out. Oh, and she takes her jacket off.
In slow-mo?
Okay, taking the jacket off makes sense.
Please tell me it's in slow-mo.
Taking her jacket off makes sense. It's not in slow-mo.
Damn it.
The theme from Flashdance starts playing.
She's in this very cute little strappy crossback workout top.
Ooh, cool.
Then she goes to push the buttons on the wall to adjust the weight, but it doesn't respond. So she tries another console, and it also doesn't respond. Then she goes to pick up a free weight, and her hand goes through the weight. She runs to the door, but her hand goes through the controls.
See, this is a safety feature. Unless your hair is pulled back, the gym equipment does not work.
Question here. Does she look great when she does this? Because when she went down to Ryza and had her hair down, she looked fantastic.
She looks great. Linda Park looks amazing.
She always looks great. I almost said it. It's in the photo that you sent. Yeah. She looks so good. I was like, wow, she looks so good in this photo. She looks so cute in the like sweatpants and the like oversized sweater. Okay. It's like a V-neck.
Well, it's like a zip-up hoodie that she unzips, and then she has like this little cute workout top on. And yeah, she looks great. And they know, Bill, they know how good she looks with her hair down. That's why they made her take it down.
Yeah, that's the only reason. Yeah.
So nothing is responding. She goes to the door. Her hand goes through the door controls. Yes. She runs back and she looks in the mirror, and she starts to see her reflection fading in the mirror. And as she walks closer and closer to the mirror, by the time she reaches the mirror, her reflection is gone and she's completely invisible in the mirror. When we come back from commercial, Hoshi is curled up asleep on the floor of the gym.
Oh, so she finally went to sleep.
She finally went to sleep because she couldn't leave the gym. She was stuck there.
Oh, right.
Because she can't go through the walls and stuff.
Well, her hand did go through the controls, but I don't think she has quite figured out that she could actually like go through the wall.
She's like, I guess I just live in the gym now.
We cut to the next scene. She has gigantic biceps in her thighs.
Just a quick outfit check. She is in her crop top, workout top, and capri workout pants and sneakers that are supposed to look like really futuristic, but really just look like heavy and uncomfortable. They're like high tops. They don't look good.
Oh, weird.
The rest of her looks great. And her hair is down.
In the future, sneakers will be heavy.
Yeah, they definitely looked heavy. I'm not a sneaker person, though, so maybe people will look at them and be like, oh, these are really cool looking. I don't know.
It's just like when you think gym shoes, you think, what I want is my shoes to be giant and heavy.
Heavy, right?
I'm doing my workout.
They look so heavy. Okay, the door opens and T'Pol and Trip walk in. Hoshi wakes up and she jumps up and says, thank God you're here. I've been stuck in here for hours. The door control wasn't responding. Trip and T'Pol are looking around the gym. They don't see her, even though she's standing right in front of them yelling.
But they're looking around as though they're perhaps looking for her.
Yep. As she tries to get their attention, Trip says this is the last place he saw her. T'Pol calms Archer and asks if the security details have reported anything back, and Archer says there's no sign of her yet. And
then T'Pol and Trip start going at it in the workout room, and she can't leave.
Oh no!
Can you imagine?
Well, since we're low, how about we do a private workout?
Room for one more on your spinny flippy thing there?
Both get on that spinny thing, yeah. Anyway, Trip and T'Pol are worried. They've tried biosearches, but no luck. Trip goes to see if he can do anything in engineering to help with the searches or whatever. Archer says he's going to stay in orbit over the planet until Hoshi turns up. He asks T'Pol to meet him in sickbay.
Let's leave some food by the back door. When she gets hungry, she'll come home.
You gotta put some stuff out with her scent on it.
So Trip and T'Pol leave the gym, and Hoshi quickly runs after them and gets out. She follows up to sickbay. Phlox is telling Archer and T'Pol about Hoshi's visits to him and how he assumed that she was just anxious because of it being the first time she was transported. He says she thought something was wrong with her molecules and that he should have taken her more seriously.
Yeah, no shit.
He shows them the 2 biomolecular scans he took of her during each of the 2 visits. He said they seemed perfectly normal at the time, but when she was reported missing, he looked closer, and between the 2 scans, her subcellular membranes had degraded far more than should have been possible in 24 hours.
Yeah, because he didn't fucking look at it the first time. Oh my god. Sorry, now I'm like getting really concerned that we were joking about misogyny or Star Trek magic, and now I'm legitimately concerned that it's actually misogyny, not Star Trek magic.
Well, I don't think any of this is real. I think she's going to get back to the real Enterprise and like.
I hope so. That's what I thought in the beginning, but now I'm concerned.
Well, again, it's a 50-50 chance.
So T'Pol understands immediately. She says that Hoshi wasn't imagining it. Her molecules are coming apart. Next stop, transporter room. Trip is examining the transporter and looking grim. He says the phase coils aren't perfectly aligned, and they must have gotten misaligned after his transport, and this is why Hoshi is losing molecular cohesion.
It's Trip.
So she should have gone first.
She should have gone first. He says her molecules will have entirely dissipated within hours.
She's been infected with Florida manium.
Trip says she insisted on going second and starts beating himself about going first.
God, Trip.
Guess what Archer is? Mad.
He yells at T'Pol.
Not at T'Pol.
He
actually doesn't. He actually doesn't yell at T'Pol, but he does yell at Trip and Malcolm. He tells them to take the transporters offline immediately and figure out what happened.
Whoa!
I mean, they should not have been transporting people. They know that it hasn't been tested on people, supposedly. They should not have been transportorting people unless it was like very serious.
Right. I mean, it was really serious, though.
They could have stayed in the cave.
The
storm's not going to get them in the cave.
They did talk through that, and they were not convinced that it would work for them to stay in the cave. They did actually talk through that in the beginning.
Okay.
Archer shakes his head and says that Starfleet promised him that this sort of thing couldn't happen. Yeah, Starfleet promised you a lot of things, man.
Wait. In the beginning, in the pilot, they were not doing people. So there's no way that Starfleet was like, yeah, you can safely transport people. There was a whole thing in the beginning that like, they didn't want to transport Archer because it had never been used on a human, and they were worried about what would happen. But then it was a life or death situation, and that was the only reason they did it.
Just to check in, Maria. So at this point, the rest of the crew is aware that Hoshi is there and having this problem. They're trying to figure out this.
No, they don't know where she is.
Oh, okay.
They don't know where she is. They can't see her at all. Okay. They are just talking about the fact that her molecules are losing cohesion and that she only has a few hours.
Gotcha.
So they know that she is potentially recoverable, But they don't know that she's like conscious.
I'm not even
anymore.
sure they know that she's recoverable. They just think she's somewhere falling apart.
But she's not all the way yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
They don't know,
but they know there's a
somewhere.
problem. Well, this actually answers your question. Phlox says that if there was a loss of molecular cohesion, they shouldn't be looking for Hoshi. They should be looking for subcellular Hoshi residue.
Yeah, why was that not what they were? That's a great way to put it. But like
just stuck in the carpet somewhere.
Like
Where do
bits
you
of
look?
Hoshi.
Is she in the buffer? The buffer was the big.
They're always in the goddamn buffer. Nobody checked the buffer.
Yeah, has anyone checked it? I can't believe they haven't mentioned buffer yet.
I might not have buffers yet. So Hoshi, who's literally sitting in a corner listening to all of this, just says, like, they're wrong. She's still in one piece. They just can't see her. But of course they don't hear her. Archer tells T'Pol to have the doctor help recalibrate the sensors and look for subcellular residue. He also calms Mayweather and tells them to break orbit and resume course. They are assuming she's gone.
Whoa!
He looks very upset, and he says that he's going back to his ready room and walks away. Next scene, Trip and Phlox are walking through the biggest fucking Jeffries tube I have ever seen.
Wait, walking?
They're basically walking, not crawling. They're just kind of bent over. They're just kind of hunched over.
This is not.
This is supposed to be the smallest enterprise. Like it's the first.
Like I described, like
giant Jeffries tube.
This ship does not. It has the saucer section, and then it has the nacelles. This is not a big ship.
Anyway, so they're scanning for Hoshi's DNA, and Hoshi is walking with them, kind of pissed off. She's all, if y'all spent a little more time trying to figure out what happened and less time looking for my DNA, but she doesn't finish her sentence because she starts to hear voices nearby.
There we go.
She walks down another tube and she hears alien voices, but also overlaid with human voices. It's all very indistinct. And as she's calling out to see who it is, we hear Trip saying, "Over here, Doc." So she goes back to see what Trip has found. And Trip has found some snot, basically. It's a small, about a quarter-size glump of yellow ooze that they are scanning and appears to be a match for Hoshi's DNA.
Well, this is all that's left of her.
She's like, I did blow my nose earlier, and I didn't have a clean. She's like, I had a sneeze.
They put up a little plaque that says Hoshi Sato 2057 to 2235.
Trip is confused as to why Hoshi would even be in that tube.
Well, wait, if they didn't have a reason for Hoshi to be in that tube, then why were they looking for her?
But because they were looking everywhere. They were scanning everywhere. Phlox says they may never know. And he pulls out a tiny envelope. You know, like when you buy flowers for somebody, there's a tiny envelope that you put the card in? It's that size envelope.
He scrapes it off.
He says, well, Captain Archer will want Hoshi's parents to have this. Scoops it up and puts it into
amazing.
Gonna mail back to Earth this disgusting little... Are they gonna send some flowers along with it? And they'll be like, oh, and there's a card. Let's pop that open and see who...
I know I made this joke in One Night in Sick Bay. Please tell me there's a full crew compliment as this little envelope is going down the torpedo.
Hoshi is literally just standing behind them through all of this, watching in a horror. And Phlox asks if both Hoshi's parents are alive, kind of as an afterthought to his parents are going to want this snot.
Because this is going to cost a fortune to mail, so before we... hit the post office. Are they alive to receive this horrifying envelope of glop?
Somebody's going to have to sign for this. Otherwise, it's going to be sent back to us. It's going to be a whole deal.
This horrifying envelope should be the name of this episode. So Trip tells him that her parents are both alive, and then Phlox just nods. He closes up the envelope, and they both look upset. Phlox starts to leave. Trip says to go ahead. He's going to stick around for a minute.
He sprays the spot with a Windex and wipes it down.
Yeah. Trip kind of turns towards Hoshi, but not really facing her, and he says, "Oh, Hoshi." Hoshi thinks maybe he can see her, so she asks, but he's just talking to her ghost,
yeah, obviously,
basically.
if he could see her, that's not what he would have said.
Exactly.
He would have been like, oh, holy shit, Hoshi.
Holy shit, Hoshi. He says he should have made her go first, that he should never have left her down there on her own. He was the ranking officer and had no business leaving a subordinate. He then goes a little victim blamey and says she should have listened to him, and now look what you've done. Takes a real sharp turn there.
Oh, Enterprise, you never fail to disappoint.
This was all my fault, but on the other hand, it was all your fault.
Yeah. He sighs and leaves, and Hoshi is just standing there when she starts hearing the voices in the alien language again. She follows the tube, and this time she actually sees 2 aliens in the tube. They are sticking things onto panels and connecting them. It's unclear what they're doing, but it does not bode well.
What do the aliens look like?
The aliens, they're just bumpy-headed aliens, but their faces are completely white. We've never seen them.
Ooh, creepy.
You mean white, like chalk white or Caucasian white?
Chalk white.
Okay.
Yeah, not Caucasian.
I gotta check with this show.
No, it's relevant. Yep. In the next scene, we're in Archer's ready room, and he's pacing, and Hoshi comes in through the wall. Like she has figured out she can go through walls.
Finally.
She's yelling at Archer that he has to listen, that there are aliens from the surface on board, and they're planting bombs on D-Deck. Of course, Archer doesn't hear, even though she keeps trying to get his attention. He gets a comm, and it's someone saying, "We've located her father, sir. Her mother isn't home." Archer actually, Archer first asks what time it is there, which you've already, called him. It doesn't matter. Anyway, fine, it's 9 a.m. He goes to his laptop, he fires up Zoom or whatever, he says good morning to Hoshi's dad. Archer then tells Hoshi's dad that Hoshi is dead in the worst possible way. No. Like, he stumbles, he goes off on tangents about the transporter, he doesn't get to the point, he cannot actually explain what happened to her, he babbles about random shit. Her father finally literally asks him what the hell he's talking about.
He is such a bad captain. I would expect that of a Trip or a Malcolm, but you are captain of the top ship in all Starfleet, and you don't know enough to know to write yourself a script before talking to the parents of a crew member who has died.
Well, he couldn't write the prelude to the book about his father, so.
That's true.
Mr. Sato, when I was 20, I took a trip to East Africa.
It's my only speech that has worked.
Could have just held up the envelope and then just slowly turned it and emptied it out.
Oh, you want to talk to Hoshi? Yeah, I got it right here.
Here you go.
Her father eventually does figure it out and is honestly pretty mad about the whole situation. He asks Archer to just call back later because he has to talk to Hoshi's mother. As this most awkward conversation is happening, Hoshi is running around the room, sticking her hands into monitors, trying to get them to change or flicker or do something.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. She finally figures out that she can reach up on the ceiling and there's a little overhead light that she can make flash. And so she starts doing SOS in Morse code, hoping that Archer A, sees, and B, knows Morse code.
There's no way that anyone on this ship... Oh, except, wait, Malcolm. I bet Malcolm knows Morse code.
Well,
Archer was an Eagle Scout.
Well, they both
that's
were,
true.
But and Archer is also very sensitive to noises, so he does actually hear it because the light flickering is actually kind of making a little bit of a clicking sound.
Was Hoshi the creak under the floor the entire time?
So he looks around and he does finally notice it, and he looks confused and he goes to the comm and calls to Paul.
Archer should have put a bunch of Christmas lights on the wall like Stranger Things at this point.
Okay, so he calls to Paul. Paul comes in, and he shows her the light. She says the plasma circuit is being interrupted, and she will have Trip take a look. Side note, they're going to have the chief engineer fix a light bulb in the captain's quarters?
He fixed the chair. He spent a whole episode fixing a fucking chair.
Yeah, and I want to point out that when he was asked to fix the chair, it was before they were affected by the weird aggression singularity thing. So Archer does ask Trip to do these weird things.
So T'Pol sort of dismisses it and gets ready to leave, but Archer asks her to listen to the pattern. He's figured out that it's Morse code for SOS. He then has to explain what Morse code is to T'Pol. He explains to her that it's a distress call. And Hoshi says, great, let's see how good your memory is. And she starts typing out the Morse code for Hoshi. As she does, Archer and T'Pol look at each other. They notice it's changed. And he says it still sounds like Morse code. But T'Pol says the plasma circuit is self-contained. Nothing outside the room could be impacting it. Archer looks disappointed because obviously there's nothing in the room, so it must just be a fluke. Hoshi keeps trying, but T'Pol says it's been a difficult day and suggests he get some rest. Everybody needs to get a whole lot of rest.
Everybody needs a nap.
Go find Malcolm. Malcolm would be into this. Like, she needs to find Malcolm.
Well, Hoshi is obsessed with Malcolm, as I have established.
Archer agrees, and he says that he'll have Trip look at it tomorrow. He and T'Pol leave just as Hoshi is yelling, "Tomorrow is too late. They're going to blow up the ship."
Oh, man.
Okay.
So in the next scene, the aliens seem to be in the final phase of their blow up the Enterprise plan. A bunch of the devices that they've connected
I just realized this is the real Enterprise. There isn't some dream Enterprise. There isn't another Enterprise. This is 100% the real Enterprise. And the only difference is that she's like getting phasey like Geordi and Ro did in that one episode. It's just hers was kind of going in and out for a while. This is literally what this is. This is the Enterprise. It was not Star Trek. It was misogyny. Because the whole thing that was weird.
It was misogyny all along.
Yay.
Like, the thing that kept getting me was the competence in them getting out of the hostage situation so quickly, but now that has been explained because it wasn't competence. It was that they were let go so that the aliens could follow them back to put bombs on the ship. So this is all explained. It wasn't Star Trek magic. It was misogyny this whole time.
I cannot wait for Maria to tell us. So we're 15 minutes into this episode.
Yeah, it's been 10 minutes. But yeah.
And now Faith of the Heart comes up.
They've connected a bunch of these devices together and to panels on the ship, and they're all starting to light up in sequence. And Hoshi is watching this. The aliens are talking in their language. We don't understand what they're saying. And they are leaving. They climb up a ladder, and Hoshi kind of follows them and watches from a vent as they climb up on top of the warp core and literally start planting devices on it. There is a woman literally at the console of the warp core, but she isn't looking up. And the alien is right there, but she isn't looking up because he's on top of it, and so she doesn't see him.
If this is the real Enterprise, that means that beard guy really is a better translator than Hoshi.
Beard guy, yeah. Yeah.
So are the white freaky aliens like invisible to everybody like she is?
No, she is invisible to them. So
yeah,
they don't see her either.
The lady engineer is not looking up.
It's just that she's not looking up.
Yeah,
okay.
It's just a perspective thing. And it is sort of one of those things it's a little hard to tell. Like, it seems obvious to us that it's weird that she can't see them, but I guess the way that the height is or whatever, she can't see them.
She's too worried about buying premium purses online.
Right.
Makeup.
Lady things.
Thank you, Bill.
I'm struck by how like this is the future, but it's such old school terrorism. You know, this sneaking around, wiring bombs like Jack Bauer in 24.
It's true. That is a good point. So anyway, Hoshi watches the alien plant the device on the warp core, and then he goes back into this Jeffries tube, and he puts a device down on the ground. It looks like it's like the main detonator or the controller. Hoshi sticks her fingers in it, trying to disrupt it, and all the lights on the device go out. And so the alien comes running back to that device that she messed up, and he looks at it, and it's dead. But the other alien comes in and just hands him another one that they then connect and continue to set up.
It's fine, I can do this all night.
I got this.
I got nothing else to do. And for some reason, I am not falling through the floor, so this is perfect.
These are devices
falling
to
through the
detect
floor.
her.
And so she sticks her fingers into it again, but that one takes longer. It's not turning off. The aliens push a button, and on the ground, a big round pad materializes. It looks like a transporter pad. And the first alien steps on it and is beamed off. And the second alien takes the device that Hoshi is messing with before she can disrupt it. She yells, no! But of course he ignores her and leaves with the working detonator. He beams off.
She should have gone on the transporter pad while he was beaming, and then maybe she could have, like, got beamed back. The second you said transporter pad, that's what I thought was going to happen.
These are actually good guys who are trying to detect her. That's my prediction.
As he beams off, all the devices light back up again. And then Hoshi suddenly hears Trip's voice saying, what's the problem? And Malcolm, it's again very indistinct, but Malcolm saying the stream is too unstable. And then...
Okay, so it is a different universe. Okay, thank God.
And then both of them saying, come on, Hoshi, come on. And Hoshi jumps on the transporter pad.
Yay.
The alien transporter pad.
Were those, oh my God, the aliens were Trip and Malcolm from the other, like, weird universe or whatever.
Well, somebody says, you can do it, Ensign. And she begins to transport. And somebody says, it's as easy as 1, 2, and on 3, we're back at Enterprise. And Malcolm is transporting Hoshi back from the planet. She puts down the case she's carrying and runs off the transport saying, where are they? We have to stop them. And Trip says, who? And Hoshi is amazed to discover that they can see and hear her. Malcolm tells her that everything is fine, and she says it's not fine. The aliens from the surface put a bomb on the warp reactor. Trip tells her there's nobody on the surface. It's uninhabited. And she says, but they kidnapped him and Travis, and they had to be stopped. And Trip literally, like, she's trying to run. Trip literally has her by the wrists, and she's struggling to get away from him. Mm-hmm. And Malcolm says the transport was affected by the storms, and they had some trouble reintegrating the matter stream.
So was this all just in her imagination while she was, like, in buffer or whatever? Oh my God.
Hoshi stops and says, trouble? And they explain that she was trapped in the pattern buffer for a few seconds. 8.3 to be exact.
Always the buffer.
Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God.
Hoshi realizes that she was just on the surface. It was all a goddamn hallucination while she was trapped in the matter stream.
Oh my God, I'm so mad.
Nothing matters, and oh my God, this was such a meaningless, useless episode.
And then they were like, what if we end the entire series this way, guys?
Two things. A better show would have been like, okay, she actually went into a slightly parallel universe and these aliens had to work to send her back to. And this is why you can't transport when you're ovulating.
Well, okay, at least it wasn't misogyny. It was Star Trek magic, but I'm kind of annoyed.
Well, now she's back in the regular Enterprise universe, where it is just misogyny.
At this point, when I was writing the script, I had watched it twice, and I was like, I just fucking can't do this anymore. Like, I was so angry. I had to stop and then come back to it the next day. I was so
Wait, are we not at the end? Because I thought this was, like, over.
We have a little bit more.
Oh my God.
Not much.
So this was like a hallucination, essentially, which means that everybody acting the way they did is just her impression of how her crew would act.
That is a very good point, Kevin, and something I would like to talk about in detail later.
Wow.
So Hoshi says she was sure she was going to be the next Cyrus Ramsey, and Trip goes, Cyrus who? Her crazy lady mind made it all up.
Yeah, so it was true in the pilot that nobody had gone through it before. Okay, I was getting kind of annoyed.
Nothing matters, and it's completely.
Oh my God.
Okay. Nothing matters, and we have no point in any of this. In the next scene, Phlox is checking her in sickbay and confirming that everything she experienced took 8 seconds. Phlox tells the captain that she seems fine and walks away. Archer tells Hoshi that Malcolm is going to make some recommendations about transport regulation to Starfleet. He is suggesting that they start compressing the transport beam. Well, says Hoshi, I hope you don't plan on beaming me anywhere for a long time. And thus, Hoshi invents the term beam.
Ah, nice.
Oh.
She does actually do that.
They didn't call it, like, the
Hoshiing.
Oh my God. like, if I were Hoshi, I would never set foot in a transporter again. Never. Never.
You are not wrong. Archer says, but you said you stepped onto the alien's transporter by choice. And Hoshi says, yeah, I figured they had better fucking technology than we did. No, she doesn't actually say that. She says she was trying to save the ship. And Archer says it sounds like she overcame her fear. And Hoshi says it was all in her head.
Oh my God.
But Archer says it doesn't matter. She was afraid of getting lost, of disappearing, but she still stepped onto the platform. He says, real or not, she did it. And she says, sure, whatever, but she's still gonna stick with fucking shuttle pods from now on.
First of all, since when? The second season, they've had so many episodes where they're like, someone's learning a lesson. And this Hoshi learned the lesson to not be scared of the transporter, because it sure as hell feels like the lesson is the opposite. You should be terrified, and also, they should not be transporting any other people ever again.
Well, like I said, a better episode would be like, okay, yeah, you went into a, 0.5 dimension, and these aliens who were there, like, helped you get back to here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to reserve judgment until I watch this.
I'm not reserving judgment. I'm already disgusted.
Archer smiles at her and tells her they should go to the bridge, and as he goes to open the door to sickbay, she asks if she can do it, and she pushes the button just to be sure. She can. The door opens and they walk through happily. End of fucking episode.
We've had nightmare episode, parallel dimension nightmare, like Worf going through, like...
We've had a million of these.
We've had these.
Yeah. But this is the worst one
so
because it was
frustrating.
just in her imagination the whole time.
Well, first of all,
like no one was ever in danger.
Where it's like...
Yeah, first of all, I was all excited because it's a Hoshi-focused episode. I really wanted to like this, but literally nothing matters because the entire thing was in her head. And the only thing that I found kind of interesting was that in this episode, people acted strangely because they were acting in the way that Hoshi thought they would react.
Yeah. That
so
is
you can kind
cool.
of tell what Hoshi thinks of everyone by the way that she thinks that everyone thinks of her. So, like,
I love that.
Archer was dismissive and frankly incompetent. He failed at every point. He couldn't even tell her dad she was dead. Like, he was, like, we've seen Archer, like, prep for this stuff. He was so bad.
So just in her mind, it's, well, here's how my captain will react if I die. Yeah. That's comforting.
And that could be effective. Like, this is how people see me if there is a parallel at the end where it's...
Right. If there's any way for her to know that that is not true, that her preconceptions were wrong.
If it was the story, like Remember Me, the whole thing is like they are trying, like Beverly, and Remember Me, Beverly feels like she is being forgotten. Her son is going off to academy, but the whole thing is like everybody is trying to get her back, and it's the homecoming. It's like we are working so hard to get you back.
Yeah, it was
But
the
this is just,
juxtaposition of like everybody just telling her she was crazy and like treating her bad, but then she gets back and everyone is like
Exactly.
like was helping her the whole time.
And the war.
And we never
But
get
in this
that.
case, Hoshi got back and they were still dismissive of her. They were like, oh,
Oh, that
Hoshi, it
didn't
was only
happen.
8 seconds. I don't know
Oh,
why
God,
you're so
this
upset about it.
fucking show.
Phlox was also dismissive and not as empathetic as he usually is. So that feels like, okay, well, you know, women going to doctors be crazy. Travis, Malcolm, and Trip mostly ignored her. T'Pol was downright mean to her, which actually makes sense because T'Pol has been mean to her.
Is downright mean to her all the time.
Trip was pretty nice to her, though. Like, Trip was actually fairly nice. I think the frustrating thing for me, the most frustrating of all of this, is that nothing happens, and because of it, it's a dream, she doesn't grow or change or learn. Even the transporter thing, she is less comfortable with the transporter now than she ever was before.
And rightly so.
Right.
Yeah, if this was an episode where Hoshi grows in some way,
In any way, or anybody else grows in terms of their reaction to her. But literally none of it matters and nothing means anything. It was just a boring episode. It's also almost exactly, as you said, the plot of that Next Gen episode where Geordi and Ro get phase shifted.
Yeah, but that was a good episode.
Right, with a little bit of like the Barclay transporter psychosis episode thrown in there. I was like really excited about, I did the same thing you guys did. I was like, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. I was like, is Hoshi the first victim of transporter psychosis? Because that could be interesting, right? No.
The Geordi and Ro episode is great because it's Ro grappling with the religion that she has rejected. It was like, oh, we have this, this idea that your spirit is. And even the Warp episode, he enters the universe where he and Troy are in a relationship, which slightly affects that. Like, it adds flavor to it. But, oh, God, this...
Nope, nobody learns anything and nothing means anything.
Has Rick Berman watched Star Trek? Any of Star Trek?
There's so many previous Trek episodes that we kept being reminded of through this. Every one of which I think I can safely assume did it better.
Did it better.
I'm fine with Trek eating Trek. Like every...
Yeah, of course. Me too.
This was also very reminiscent of several Twilight Zone episodes as well.
Yeah.
Which, like, I can think of at least 3, 4, 5 Twilight Zone episodes which hit a lot of these same rhythms.
The thing about sci-fi magic is... what makes these sci-fi things good is that usually you use like a sci-fi, there's like obviously different types of sci-fi, but when you're dealing with sci-fi magic, the point of it usually is that you're doing it to put the characters in a very weird situation so that they learn something about themselves.
How does this flavor this character?
That's the thing here is all we learned is the same thing that we know, that like, she thinks nobody likes her and that she's not good enough.
There's something interesting about that concept of what if nobody could see me? What if nobody could hear me? What if I was disappearing, and I could see other people, there's something attractive to that as a viewer. Right. And that's why we've seen it so many times.
Yeah, you got to do something with it. Like, I wouldn't even be mad if it's all just an 8-second dream. If there was good character work, but it sounds like there wasn't. Like, it doesn't really sound like she grappled with anything.
Nobody learned anything. The only thing that she learned was that she even more dislikes the transporters, which is exactly, Hoshi needs therapy so badly. Like, we know Hoshi has been through all of this shit that she hasn't dealt with. Like, all of her, like, when she went on that crazy murder ship and was, like, literally traumatized by all the dead people. She's not dealt with any of that. And now this, like, it's really annoying.
Like, Maria, you had before we recorded, you did mention that this was a really boring episode. But as we were going, I was like, I don't know why you think this is boring. This is the greatest. I'm having a great time. And then we get to the end and I'm like, no, this episode sucked.
It sucked. I guess it was more boring after I'd watched it once and I knew. Like, once you watch it and you know what's going on, like what's happening, it's really annoying because it's like, none of this means anything.
No, I totally get that it could be very boring to watch. I mean, it was very entertaining, Maria, listening to you talk us through it. But yeah, so much of the middle of it is just over and over and over again. Just go take a nap, go to sleep, everything's fine. That seemed to be go on and on for the bulk of the episode.
And I do feel like, I don't know that this was intentional. I don't think it was, but there was a lot of what you guys did, which was, is this just being a woman in the world? Like, because so much of this is really weirdly familiar as, you get ignored, you get people don't pay attention or whatever. And so that could be really, to me, really interesting if anybody had learned anything. Like, if she had told the rest of the people what she went through and how she felt.
And you were there.
Right. If there was any of that, but none of it.
Here's how I felt, and not to pull back the curtain, but you told me, like, this is a boring episode. I need you to bring
I told both
energy.
You and Jamie it was a boring episode.
To bring the energy. It's like, this feels like an episode they would have made fun of on Lower Decks, where it's like, something as weird is happening, and Boimler or Mariner would have said, oh, wait, is this a Remember Me situation? Okay, I know what's going on here. All right.
I just looked up to see who the writers were, and surprise, surprise, it was written by Rick Berman and Brandon Braga. And the director of it was David Straighten, who also directed Desert Crossing and A Night in Sickbay.
So, yeah, it's a really frustrating episode. Let's move on.
Okay, honestly, I'm looking forward to watching this because it sounds crazy.
Okay, so 2 truths and a lie outcome. Nobody got mauled in a transporter accident.
Oh, so I was right.
Caves did not factor into this, even though there was a cave at the beginning. Had nothing to do.
Yeah, I feel like that was a cheat. Being like, oh, the caves are not in the main. There was a cave.
Yeah, there was a cave, but it had nothing to do with anything. We never saw it again after that first.
Okay,
after
I'm sorry.
The cold open.
What was the lie in your opinion?
Nobody got mauled by a transporter accident.
Oh, so we were right.
Y'all were all right. Y'all all got it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
we
we're
all
right.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. Porthos good boy scale. How good of a boy was Porthos on this episode? Fucking Hoshi didn't dream of Porthos at all.
She should have gone to find Porthos. I bet Porthos would have. Porthos would have been able to see her just like on Quantum Leap, which I have now seen.
Porthos sitting in the middle of a lotus flower with a glow around him.
Porthos could have started like barking, and then they caption on the screen, "You should go back to your quarters and take a rest."
Take a nap.
Saucy section. How sexy was this episode on a scale from that eel bug thing that they put in Chekhov's ear in Wrath of Khan to Shocks and Ransom or Crusher and Troy working out in unitards? Lots of Hoshi skin in this episode. There was a shower scene. There was her running around in workout gear. Linda Park is just gorgeous as always.
But we, the viewers, were the only ones that could appreciate it because
no one else could even see.
The crew could not see her.
Never asked, never answered for something in this episode that made no sense and was never explained.
Episode.
There's no fucking purpose to doing a never asked, never answered for this episode. Anything that makes no sense.
Nothing happened in the episode.
Well, that was all in her head, right? So you can't even, it's all explained by it was all in her head.
Oh my God.
Technical difficulties, the most techno-babble thing from this episode, same thing as never asked, never answered. Plenty of weird medical science and odd transporter shit, none of it matters. It's all in her head. Nobody cares. What the Phlox, the creepiest thing that Phlox said or weirdest thing that Phlox did. Phlox was honestly kind of mean in this episode, to be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love Phlox. And it did feel like I was like, I don't like Phlox right now.
It was a reflection of how Hoshi sees him, that is kind of interesting.
Which is weird because they get along. They're like doing language.
I think it has more to do with her own insecurities.
Of being ignored, of being, set aside. And I do get that. I think that's what that was about. Yes, chef. Any mentions of chef or food?
What was she eating?
There were a few scenes in the mess hall, not a lot of close-ups on the food. She was mostly eating salads. It was nothing interesting.
Of course, because she's a girl. Girls eat salads.
Girls eat salad.
Girls be eating salad.
Where is HR? Again, somewhat meaningless, but a whole new HR issue. Archer talking about Hoshi not going on the mission on an open comm while Trip is in the mess hall.
Wait, no, but that was part of the dream. That was also part of the dream. Okay.
Doesn't matter. Yep. So, this is the segment of our show we like to call Will's Hollow Rex, where we each give our Rikermendations for non-Enterprise related content that we've been consuming in our holodecks this week, sponsored by Eric.
Trademark.
Kevin, as our guest, would you like to start with your recommendation?
Sure. You know what I decided to bring you for my recommendation was, we could call this the books I brought home from DragonCon last year, as we're barreling towards DragonCon this year. So actually I have two. One of them is one of the guests on DragonCon's Space Track last year was astronaut Katie Coleman. And I got her book, which is here. Katie's book is called Sharing Space. She flew a couple of shuttle missions, and she also lived on the space station for a few months. She is a flute player, and while she was on the space station, she played a flute duet with Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull.
Cool.
Yeah, super cool. That video
that is so cool.
Yeah, the video's on YouTube of their flute duet.
And then
she
touched a probe and lived an entire life on an alien planet.
Way to spoil the ending of the book,
God
Bill.
Damn it,
yes.
sorry.
It's a great book. I'm almost finished it, but it's a lot about her, what she had to go through preparing, and as a woman struggles getting accepted by NASA and everything she had to go through to, earn the right to be on the space station and navigate being a new mother at the same time as being an astronaut.
That's so cool.
Yeah, she's amazing.
What an appropriate episode, recommendation for this episode.
Yeah.
So
nobody remembered her when she got back.
It turned out it was all a dream.
You weren't on the space shuttle.
That is Sharing Space by Katie Coleman. It was a pleasure to meet her at DragonCon last year. The other book I brought home is called Dragon Tales, and this is a book about DragonCon, which was debuted at last year's convention. It's a bunch of short stories and essays about DragonCon. So it's things like people's memories and feelings about DragonCon, as well as there's some fiction in it related to DragonCon. There's guides to people going to DragonCon. I am one of the authors in this book. There's several stories, but I contributed a chapter in this. Mine is called The Complete Idiot's Guide to DragonCon, in which I offer advice which no one should follow. I kind of just tried to be ridiculous. It's a very fun book, especially for people that like DragonCon, and all proceeds from this book go to 2 different charities in the memory of a couple of people that used to be regulars at DragonCon. So a really special book called Dragon Tales from New Legend Productions, and still available through Amazon, or just Google Dragon Tales. That's Tales, Tales, Dragon Tales from New Legend Productions.
Nice. Cool. Jamie, what you got?
You know what I've got. Everyone knows what I've got. Guys, this is our first episode since Murderbot premiered.
God damn it! I was
it's
wondering.
a triple recommendation.
I was wondering who was going to bring this up.
So our very, very first, I believe it was my first recommendation, was Murderbot books. And now the TV show has premiered. And it is so good. It's so good.
Well, let's just say we're on the 4th episode now. So just in case the series goes off the cliff, just like this is where we are right now.
It's not going to go off the cliff. It's so good.
Can I just say real quick, I have no idea what Murderbot is, and I think apparently I'm the only one on the call that can say that. So can you give me a quick idea of what this is that I should apparently really be watching right now instead of talking to you people?
All right. Far future, there is a conglomerate universe empire. Okay. They create these cyborg units that are security units, but it's an evil megacorp. But one of these cyborg units becomes self-aware and frees himself.
But then he's like, what am I going to do? I guess I'll just keep doing my job. But now I can watch soap operas while I'm doing my job. And then that's just what it does.
I have never in my life related more to a character than I do to Murderbot. He just wants to sit and watch TV, and he will be competent if he needs to be competent and be there. And he usually does. But he'd much rather just be fucking watching TV, which is exactly me.
Excuse me, Maria. Murderbot's pronouns are its preferred pronouns.
Oh, sorry, you're right. You're right.
Here's the tagline. What if a Terminator just wanted to watch soap operas? But he had to go out and do jobs with hippies.
Exactly right.
Yeah, that's
right.
it.
Got it.
It's so good. The books are so good. You got to read the books, but then the show is also good. The casting for almost all the characters is so good. Like the Mensa, that actress that plays Mensa, is so good. My only one thing, it would have been nice if they had cast a non-binary actor as Murderbot. They cast Alexander Skarsgård. I mean, look, Emma Corrin is right there. like there are some very good non-binary gender actors they could have cast, but I get it. It is a Skarsgård. I'm never gonna complain about a Skarsgård being in anything.
He's been great so far.
And he is so good in that role.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Okay,
Bill, what is your recommendation? Is it
also Murderbot?
Is it Murderbot?
It's not. I knew one of the two of you was going to recommend that show. Weirdly appropriate for a show that does not take place in an actual universe. It is a show called Comrade Detective, which you can watch on Amazon Prime. I'm going to spoil the kayfabe. It's really better, so skip ahead 60 seconds. It's really better if you go into this show blind. But this is a show that was created in 2017. But the premise of the show is that they have unearthed a show that was created in 1980s communist Romania. It is a detective show about two detectives in communist Romania who are trying to find a serial killer who is a rabid communist. But the amazing part of the show is that it takes the perspective that communism is good and great and will never be defeated, and the USA is completely evil. So, Comrade Detective on Amazon Prime. It is amazing.
This sounds fun.
I've seen it. It's super fun.
It's so amazing.
Okay, and my recommendation, in addition to seconding, thirding the Murderbot recommendation, is a series of books by T. Kingfisher. It's a Saint of Steel series. Really fun. I just sort of discovered them randomly, but the idea is it's a group of paladins whose god dies, and when their god dies, they all go berserk and start killing people because their god has died. They don't know what to do. And so it's after all of that, it starts after all of that has happened. We go one paladin at a time per book, and you kind of learn each of their stories and what they do and how they deal with it. And each one of them is a little bit different. Each one of them has a little bit of a spicy love story in there as well. But there's also the kind of an overarching story. So the first one's kind of a murder mystery. The second one is kind of a going out on a quest kind of a story. The third one is more Indiana Jones puzzles kind of things. And the one that I'm on right now is more like political intrigue and spy stuff. Each one is different and they're all super fun. And the Saint of Steel series by T. Kingfisher. And that is the episode. Thanks for listening. Next week, we will revisit this episode as a second contact and hear
Can't wait.
Jamie, Bill, and Kevin's thoughts once they've actually watched it. Kevin, thank you so much for coming on the pod. Tell us where our listeners can find you online.
Yeah, you know what? You can find me right here on the ESO network. I am also a podcaster here on ESO. My regular podcast is called The Flopcast, and we do a goofy news show every single week, as we have for the last 13 years now and counting. It's been literally years. We have not missed a week. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
So many episodes.
We're on.
We have missed weeks, and we were doing every other week.
We are,
and had like 2 months lead time, and we missed a whole episode.
We're closing in on episode 700 at this point. But yeah, the Flopcast, and we just obsess over old TV and movies and music and comic books and Saturday morning cartoons and kind of goofy pop culture from the 70s and 80s, that kind of stuff. So it's just silly, and it happens every week. It is the Flopcast right here on ESO.
Woohoo! Special thanks to K.O. Myers at Particulate Media for sound assistance, to our friend David for the beautiful cover art, and to John Stephen King for being the voice of our computer. If you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on your podcast app of choice, and tell your friends about it. We really appreciate it. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook as @EnterpriseSplaining, and on Blue Sky, which is where we are more than anything else, I think, @EnterpriseSplain. You can also email us any comments or questions, such as, do they really have that spinny thing in the gym, or did Hoshi just imagine it?
No, wait, they do have it because we saw it. We saw it in a night in sickbay.
Well, when you said that, it was the first time I knew that, because I had no idea. To enterprisesplaining@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. And if you would like to support this podcast, you can find us at Buy Me a Coffee as Enterprise Splaining. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Computer. End program.
And then in the Jizz Monster episode,
Yes.
you got stuck in the jizz.
Yeah. I believe so. I could be wrong.
But I didn't know I didn't know he was also the guy screaming in the cocaine cave.
My favorite part about this entire conversation is that the way that we describe these episodes is not how we titled those episodes.
Those are not the actual titles.
Cave or,
You're saying these aren't the actual
Monster.
titles of the episode?
Well, you wouldn't let us use Jizz Monster.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We do have an ESO Network board member here, Kevin, and I was convinced that we would get kicked out of the network if we named our episode
Jizz Monster.
You guys wanted to name it. Can you return your Jizz Monster or can you return our Jizz Monster?
I absolutely need to do a quick sidebar here. Jamie, you've seen the original Star Wars, right? The first movie?
Yes.
Okay. The music that they play in the Cantina bar, that do you know that is in universe called Jizz music?
Right. I remember that now. Yep.
Well, there you have it.
We did have a show on ESO, another show that was using some rather strong language in the titles of their episode, and we did have to have a little discussion about it and then ask that they not do that. It's like say whatever you want in the episode, but you might want to keep the title of the episode relatively clean.
Fine.
Because one of you guys was like, don't use certain words in the title, and this is why I told you guys we would have gotten kicked off the network if you named our episode Jizz Monster.
Welcome to our new backdoor pilot for a podcast about in-universe music called Jizz Music.
Jizz Music.
All that jizz.
Oh my.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.